Hello, and welcome to this edition of Oracle Live. Today you will be hearing about the latest innovations from our Oracle advertising and customer experience portfolio. I'm extremely excited to have our founder, chairman, and CTO, Larry Ellison, join me today to continue our discussion on the future of CRM. Welcome, Larry.
Hi, Rob. How are you?
Great to see you. You know, Larry, we've been talking a lot about sales and marketing innovations over the past year, and you've been guiding us on a lot of our work. Maybe we can start by just getting your perspective on where you see the state of CRM today and why it has failed to live up to its promise.
Well, I think the most obvious thing is sales automation. Pioneered by Siebel, the number one player in the market right now is Salesforce.com. And their number one product is sales automation, but it doesn't automate selling. It's that simple. The sales automation system has value. It keeps track of your opportunities, keeps track of your contacts, and it allows you to communicate with management and say, I expect these deals to close in the quarter. It's really a management tool for individual salespeople and their bosses to make estimates is how many deals will close in the quarter and figure out what revenue is going to look like in the quarter. Now that has value, but the sales, the sales system does not increase sales. It doesn't automate sales. It automates sales forecasting and improves communication. But what we want to do is actually build systems that help you sell more. It's that simple. And there's really a combination, and we realized we couldn't do just a second generation sales automation system to help you sell more. We had to also include the precursor to selling, which is marketing to generate and, most importantly, qualify leads. Creating leads is easy. You can get lots and lots and lots of leads. The question is being able to figure out which of those leads are high quality. Right. Which of those leads do you want to turn over to salespeople and then get them engaged? So we felt we had a two-step process. We had to automate lead generation and qualification, a new second generation marketing system. And then as soon as we got that done is to build a second generation sales automation system that would make the salespeople more productive, help them sell more.
That's great. You know, Larry, in this process of building and working with you on this, we've talked a lot about true end-to-end automation, what that really means. So I'd love to get your sense of, how you think our approach from an end-to-end automation perspective is so different from competitors who rely solely on integrations rather than really automating the process.
Well, we wanted to build a single unified system that would cover all aspects of marketing. And, Rob, you and I have had numerous conversations. I said, okay, let's say our first campaign, our model campaign at Oracle was, it was existing customers. They sell to existing customers. By the way, we also sell to new customers. It's called the AT&T deal. What about new customers? What about existing customers? We sell to both. Right. But the first campaign was existing customers that were using our on-premise e-business suite applications. And we wanted to persuade them to upgrade from your on-premise e-business suite system to our cloud Fusion system. So that was the first thing that we did. So clearly we had identified all, they're existing customers. So it's easier to figure out the first thing you do is create a list of people you want to sell to. So those are the people we wanted to sell to. Then the next thing you want to do is run direct mail campaigns and advertising campaigns to get them to engage. And then when they do engage, you want to measure their engagement. So we build these microsites. We do direct mail and advertising to these people. And then we would get them to go to our microsite and engage and get the best references and see what what other people's experience was with as they upgraded from e-business suite to Fusion. So we wanted to have advertising and direct mail in the same system. That doesn't exist. That does not. Those are usually separate systems. And the ad system often has nothing to do with. It's almost a separate thing,
Right.
off to the side, a separate team of people that work on advertising. We look at advertising as one of the tools where you try to engage people. So, for example, eBusiness Suite, we wanted to advertise to. It was a medium-sized company. We wanted to advertise to everyone on the board of directors, the CFO, the CTO, everyone if they had a CTO, a CHRO if they had a CHRO. And we wanted to identify all the decision makers, all the influencers, and have those ads that chase you around when you go to the Nike website and you look at your Air Jordans. A lot of people don't know that Rob wears Air Jordans to work every day. He's really a devoted customer to those $700 shoes. I'm just joking. But if you go visit a Nike site and then you go to the New York Times or you go to the Wall Street Journal, those Nike ads follow you around. Well, if Nike can do it, why can't we? Why can't we when we're trying to communicate about our great new Fusion ERP system? Why shouldn't we have the same kind of advertising capability someone like Nike has? We should. It should be a part of the integrated system. So we can direct mail them. We can advertise directly to them. We can show them our best references and encourage them to come to our microsite, which we built just for them. That has all of our best references. The companies who had the best experience that are most like them upgrading from eBusiness Suite to Fusion. We wanted to have a single system, a single step-by-step, end-to-end, completely automated process from the creation of the list of who you're selling to scoring the leads using our AI technology, and then distributing those leads and opening opportunities automatically in the Oracle sales automation system, in the Salesforce.com automation system, but just do all. And by the way, all that lead generation and qualification is done entirely through automation. It's just computers. In fact, we draw this very interesting line that the lead generation and qualification is a completely automated computer process. Artificially intelligent computer process. When we make the handoff, when we actually open up the opportunity in the sales automation system, that's when human beings are engaged.
Right.
And we begin to do reference calls, set up a call between a prospect and someone who's using Fusion, set up a demo where you go to a customer who's actually using the system. Rather than us doing the demo, you can go to a customer and see it at a customer site. Then we can take your data or some of your data and put your data up and then demo that for you. So there's a whole series of steps trying to close that deal. And that's it. Lead generation qualification, what we're announcing today, completely automated, includes integrated advertising. There's all the integrated advertising. One system end to end. Same thing with selling. One system end to end, from opening an opportunity to actually configuring and quoting the deals and shipping a proposal to the client. And that's a sales automation system, as you well know.
Yeah.
You're building it.
Yeah, well, it's great. And everything you talked about in the creating leads and qualifying leads has been such a fragmented manual process for so many years. And, as a set of, as you well know, it's just a set of really hard computing problems that we had to take on and really set out. I'm just curious to know your view on why you think we at Oracle are so well positioned to solve this problem versus other of our competitors. I mean, why do you think it was that it took so long for companies to come to this, and why do you think we're most uniquely positioned to solve it?
Well, I think Oracle really is a very unusual cloud company. We are a first-tier player in applications, where our primary application competitors, historically it's been SAP, but they're not in the cloud. So SAP in ERP, and then Salesforce.com, who we think is a high-quality company. in CRM or CX, whatever you'd like to call it. So we compete with the very first tier companies in applications. But we also compete in infrastructure. Underlying our applications is not somebody else's infrastructure. I mean, most every SAP application runs on the Oracle database. But sales automation at Salesforce.com runs on the Oracle database. So in their cloud. So we run on our own infrastructure. So we're equipped to say tackle this advertising job, which is technically very complex, and build the underlying technology that allows us to build applications that take advantage of the latest technology. You know, Gartner just ranked the top 3 American infrastructure players, and number 1 was Amazon, and number 2 was Microsoft, and number 3 was Oracle in infrastructure. That's pretty interesting. So we're a first-tier player in infrastructure, first-tier player in applications. It allows us to tackle these second-generation applications, which complete end-to-end automation in a single unified system with security, with reliability, with scalability, all because we're an infrastructure player as well as an application player.
That's great. And just one last question for you. Beyond this launch of Fusion Marketing, what are you excited about? And I'll just say, you know, in the front office, just given the audience, what are you excited about in the front office that we're doing beyond this?
Well, I'm glad you limited it to the front office because we're doing
Right.
we're doing a lot of different things. In fact, I don't talk about all the things we're doing in healthcare, but in healthcare and banking and in a variety of other areas. But in the front office, this really is, as we discussed, you know, whether to make this a single announcement or 2 announcements, whether to announce the Gen 2 marketing first, and then wait a couple of months until we announce the Gen 2 sales. So obviously, this is the first step, the first shoe to drop, which is the Gen 2 marketing. Which we think is quite remarkable. Just looking at, you know, part of the Gen 2 marketing includes this database that keeps track of all of your products and your product descriptions, and then all of your references, all of your best references for your products. Actually, all of your reference, whether they're your best, from your best to your worst. You keep track of a single database, keeps track of all the analyst reports, all the articles, all of that stuff is in one place. So, and that's one of the underlying technologies that enables this marketing system. Because the way we get engagement in marketing is to show a customer another company that looks very much like them, and how that customer successfully migrated from eBusiness Suite to Fusion. And if it worked for Alice, it should work for you, right? I mean, a lot of our business is reference selling. By the way, whether it's same thing as new, it also automatically builds lists. It looks at our existing installed base. I said new customers and existing customers. For new customers, they will look at our installed base of successful Fusion users and build a list of companies that look like our most successful users, and then start marketing to those new customers with the references, doing advertising and direct mail and microsites and so on. So that was step 1. And we're very excited about that. And that's out and available, and we're using it. And you and Ariel are going to talk about, in some detail, how we're using it at Oracle successfully and how some of our customers are using it. But the other shoe is the sales automation. And I know my good friend Mark Benioff, talks about Slack first, and I mean, it's really interesting because our view is, by the way, we use Slack. We use Slack. We think Slack is really good at some things, but in terms of sales engagement, where we open the opportunity for the salesperson, it's kind of Zoom first. So just like here we are, we're not. I mean, I guess we could have done this announcement on Slack, but for some reason we chose not to. It's a great tool, but it's not the perfect tool for everything. For person-to-person engagement, Zoom. For sales, potential customer engagement, for a reference call, for a demo, Zoom is much better than Slack. Again, we love Slack. We use Slack. But in selling, we're going to use a lot of Zoom. We've got a very close relationship with Zoom. A lot of Zoom runs in our cloud. We got a great relationship with them, and it's getting stronger and broader and deeper all at the same time. So you'll see our sales automation, a lot of the events, the reference events, the demos, a lot of those things are scheduled and executed in Zoom conferences. And you'll see the ability for salespeople and prospects to go ahead and with the scheduler and schedule these reference calls, schedule these demos, schedule a contract negotiation, whatever it is, via Zoom. And all of that stuff will be, if you will, choreographed by the system. Also a step-by-step sales process, beginning with the opening of the opportunity, and then finally with a proposal and a configuration and a price quote, the customer. So obviously, this is one shoe. What am I most excited about in the front office is the other shoe.
Yeah.
Gen 2 selling.
Gen 2 selling. That's awesome. Larry, I appreciate so much you being here to share your vision and your inspiration that is guiding all our teams. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Rob, and shout out to Ariel and the rest of the team. Great job, guys. See you at work tomorrow.
Thank you. See you at work.
Via Zoom.
Yeah, via Zoom. See you at work via Zoom. Thank you, Larry.